So the fact that we're using live blood that has not been altered in any way is quite significant, isn't it? And very different from how blood is analysed in conventional laboratory tests. Are there any other significant differences between live blood analysis and the blood tests performed by laboratories?
Yes, absolutely. There are actually quite a few important points to bear in mind here between conventional blood tests and live blood analysis. So let's have a look at this in a bit more detail. In conventional blood tests, they use stained, essentially dead blood, and this is only really when microscopy is done. Most of the conventional blood tests, performed in a lab. Laboratory investigations are done through automated machines. There's very little actual microscopy being done, but on samples where microscopy is performed, as you would know, they use stains to preserve the sample, and the staining process itself kills the blood cells. So we're not really seeing a live sample, whereas in live blood analysis, we use live blood that's not been altered in any way. In conventional blood tests, venous blood is used. In live blood analysis, capillary blood is drawn. In conventional blood tests, an anticoagulant is added. So usually blood is drawn with a syringe from a vein into a tube, which usually contains an anticoagulant and possibly other reagents as well, depending on what's being tested. In live blood analysis, nothing at all is added to the sample. In conventional blood tests, when the blood does eventually get tested, it's usually hours after collecting the sample, because typically these samples are collected at various points and then sent to a central location where the blood is then tested. Live blood analysis, everything is done at the practitioner's own office, so the sample is viewed immediately after collecting it. Now, in conventional blood tests, only a few parameters are usually tested. This would only be, these would only be the tests indicated on the form by the doctor. So the doctor that requested the investigations would, of course, tick specific tests off on the form, and only those specific things would be tested for. So there is a possibility of missing something important in the blood simply because the practitioner has not necessarily thought of testing for that. In live blood analysis, we look through the blood. It's a visual type of analysis. It's a visual screening of the blood. So we look at all the areas in a sample, in the working area of the sample, and essentially whatever is there, provided you're able to identify it and that you're able to actually see it with your microscope system, you would then not miss anything important. Now, in conventional blood tests, as we mentioned, they are concerned with diagnosing disease. In live blood analysis, we are more concerned with preventing disease. And in conventional blood tests, the client would only see a report or perhaps get a call from their doctor telling them what the results are. And in live blood analysis, the client sees their actual blood sample.
And that last point's the important one, isn't it? It really makes quite an impression on people when they see their own blood cells. It's much more powerful than a few numbers on a report, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is a major benefit of live blood analysis. This visual impact of seeing your blood cells for yourself on a screen really has a very powerful effect on people, and is really useful in motivating people to make the necessary changes. It's not something you really have to work on. Usually clients are immediately motivated to do something as soon as they see the condition of their blood cells. Now, it was actually shown in a study that people who were given the actual images of their damaged arteries, this is after an angiogram, were significantly more compliant in making changes to their diet and lifestyle than those clients or participants in this particular study who only saw those images once. So being able to physically see the impact of poor dietary and lifestyle choices and then to be able to refer back to those images really has a very powerful effect on keeping people motivated. And this is what we're able to make use of in live blood analysis as well. Now, live blood analysis is really only one part of the actual analysis. There is another test that's performed as part of this analysis of unmodified blood, referred to as dry blood analysis, and we're going to be looking at that also briefly.
If you'd like to know more about live blood analysis, please click on the link below to receive information on our training courses, as well as newsletters about this fascinating process.